don't miss them in future. First, let me warmly welcome all the viewers who have joined us online from all our channels, MMA webinar, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and very warm welcome to each one of you. As usual, there's a number flashed on your screen, and if you have any question, please send all your questions. Whatever stress you are in, you are not stressed also, you can share the questions, and we'll make sure that all the questions are compiled and place it before the distinguished speaker this evening, and she has kindly agreed to address all your questions actually. Only request is please make sure your questions are relevant to the topic what you are going to be discussing this evening. So I really appreciate your understanding and looking forward to receiving some outstanding questions. To watch online are phenomenal. We get some lovely questions as usual. I'm quite sure you won't let me down this today, and we'll get some outstanding questions today too. Let me tell you what's happening at MMA, and now on the 20th of Feb, that is tomorrow, we have been having event continuously for the last 3 days. Tomorrow we are having Chennai Reigns, helpless, hapless and hopeless. Because this is an event which is impacting so many lives, and we thought we must discuss this, how this is going to be really changing the scenario, and we are getting some outstanding speaker to speak, and Mr. Janakarajan, who was president of, he has also given a report recently. Ramanan, you all must have seen him regularly in television, who is a former director of Cyclone Warning System, Chennai. And we're also getting a very senior rep from NDRF to come and see how NDRF is playing a important role in different part of the country and how is it different in Chennai. We've got a very good team. Please do come tomorrow evening to understand what's happening. It's your town, your Chennai. You should know what's happening so that you'll be able to protect. Then on 23rd, again, we have Read and Grow program. Read and Grow is the one we are really concerned. We do that regularly more for the students because we strongly believe you have to be a great leader, you have to be a great reader. And you see, I have seen my last 17 years of experience in MMA, every great leader who have come, be it Ratan Tata, Ajim Premji or Pranil Bharati Mittal, who is who, Mr. Gurumati who came, they're all voracious readers actually. That's the reason we could see them doing so well, and that's the reason we want youngsters to pick up the habit of reading actually. That makes you really smart. So come and attend the book. What you have discussed is very interesting. Who might choose? It's a very good one, and amazing way to deal with change, work-life balance. And come, we got again outstanding panel tomorrow. Sangeeta, Madhavan, and Mala. Then on 28th of Feb, it's again an outstanding event. The registration is almost going to be closed. MMA Amalgamation Business Leadership Award is being conferred on none other than Mr. Chandrasekharan, Chairman of Tata Sons. He has come personally to receive the award on 28th, doing us the honor. He is going to add another jewel in the crown of MMA Amalgamation Business Leadership Award. It's happening on the 28th at Taj Coromandel, 7 p.m. It's totally only by invitation, and it's only proper communication has to come to MMA. We share with you a proper security code. Based on the code will be permitting because it's a very high profile event. We already have over 350, 400 nominations come, and please do, you want to attend, you are a member, you are an invitee, please confirm, then only your registration will be confirmed. You'll also get a QR code which will be scanned and sent because due to security reasons we have to do that. Then we have on 5th of May, again a great event on In Search of Ideal MSME. We got again outstanding speaker, Sharat Sarin, former author, is from XIME. Then we also have the competition for young managers happening on 12th of March, and 16th of March is our MMA Women Managers Convention. This is again, we do it as a part of MMA World Women's Day, and we do celebration of women, and we get some outstanding speakers to come and speak, including we have Anjali Bansal, who is an independent director of Tata Power, Nestle, and also we have Nirmala Lakshman, who is a chairperson of Hindu Group. She is going to be agreed to come and speak. Ponni Oscar, and we also having Mr. Monica Singh. Monica Singh is the first woman combat fighter pilot of Indian Air Force. She has accepted to come and speak, and it's a great honor for you to come and see a woman fighter pilot and get impressed. This convention is mainly for women. Men can watch it from home, but you come and it is a fascinating convention. We also have Aparna Popat, former one of the finest sports personality, former Indian badminton player. We also have Ramya Venkatramani, founder CEO of accreditation from Centre Limited. Bharati Bhaskar, you all know, she comes regularly. She is going to be there. Ekta Kumar, again columnist, speaker, artist, and she is going to be there. And also with us, Preeti Srinivasan. Preeti Srinivasan is founder of Soul Freeze from Tirunnamalai. She, at the age of 19, she got triple due to a freak accident, and she's under 19 cricket player. And from there, what she transformed is a phenomenal story. You have to come and listen to it. So this is what happening next. There are even the finalists till April. I thought I'll share with you. Now it's my time to welcome a fascinating event this evening and step to mental well-being. Why we thought about this is, we all talk about stress, we discuss about it, but we really never paid any attention. Of late, you see even many CEOs. Why many CEOs? Even the school children or college-going students get stressed so much and get into so many troubles, and which we can avoid it. Listen to something good. I have seen always. Somebody taught me that the stress is like so much of thoughts come to your mind from different sections, and you're not able to think. It's like a wave. You're in the sea, and the waves comes and attack you. You can't stop the wave. So your thoughts of negativity all come like a wave. You should be able to manage that. You stand still, that you'll be able to manage some of the waves which come and impact you. And especially the waves which impact your amygdala. You all go and see in the dictionary where is amygdala. If you can control your amygdala, I think you'll do a great job, because all your negativity will go off. That one glance in your brain, amygdala, is, you must understand the functioning of that glance, and which really takes care of you, very, very important. Now, I think today's speaker is from Vedanta, one of the finest institute in the world, and I know quite a bit she will talk about from Mahabharata and say that how the correlation is happening, because I always have old Swami Parthasarathy, the highest reverence, one of the finest individual India has, who has discussed so much about Mahabharata, Vedanta, and we need to know from Asian wisdom how we grow forward. And especially going to talk about battlefield of Kurukshetra, where everybody who took part in the battlefield was so much stressed. Now they could deal with so many things which came to their life, be it simple things like personal thing, what is duties between the personal versus society and family. Then Krishna's advice to Arjuna. Then so many things are there, and resistance and adaptability, and also unmanned stress, anguish one faces. It could be Bhishma and Drona. And then some point which comes to your mind is the most, accept what you have, the power of acceptance. That is what Draupadi and Kunti has done. They have no choice but to accept what has came to them. So all this will really learn them, and to talk more and really make us more wiser this evening. We have a very, very outstanding speaker from Vedanta Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hand together to welcome speaker for this evening, whom we are all eagerly waiting to see, Irina Dwarak. May I request Irina to please come and take your place on the dais. As mentioned, she has agreed to take on all the questions. Audience who here, priority is here. If you have any questions, the slips are available here. They will pass it on to you so that you can write your questions. Why you're not passing the microphone? Because if I pass on the microphone, not only I'll be stressed, other people also get stressed, because you'll start teaching the same subject what you're discussing this evening. That's the reason. Please, we understand your cooperation. We look forward to your questions, and question pen is available at paper. Let me have the privilege of introducing, and let me also before that acknowledge the presence of Mr. Mahalingam, who is the president of MMA. Because of his insight, because of his push, we are able to do some phenomenal events in MMA. Thank you, Mr. Mali, for your support. We also have a committee member, Sundaram, and there are a lot of people who support us. That makes us achieve what we are doing today. Irina Dwarak is a senior disciple of world-renowned philosopher A. Parthasarathy. Irina has done a post-graduation in history, political science, and English from Martin Luther University, Germany, and University of Central England. Madam, Conrad Stifting is our partner for the last 35 years. We do a lot of work with Conrad Stifting, and Conrad is first president of Germany. It's outstanding gentleman again. And Irina is an alumnus of Vedanta Academy, India, which conducts residential courses on Vedanta. For over a decade, Irina has dedicated herself to the full-time study and propagation of this practical wisdom to audience around the world. Irina has addressed various audiences like International Women's Association, Young President Organization, many clubs, many of the associations, and translated Swamiji's book, The Fall of Human Intellect, into Russian language. It's indeed a privilege to have you with Irina. We are all looking forward all over to you, Irina. And ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to present you, Irina, to talk to us on a very important topic, steps to mental well-being. Irina.
Thank you very much, and good evening to everyone. Thank you. Our topic today is steps to mental well-being. Could you have the first slide? Thank you very much. Now, our topic today, like I said, is steps to mental well-being. We'll be looking at the subject of mental well-being, mental health, from the point of view of Vedanta. Vedanta is ancient Indian philosophy that originated thousands of years ago in the Vedas. Now, first of all, let's define mental well-being. What is it? What is the subject matter today? How do we define mental health? First of all, we need to understand that mental well-being does not mean absence of mental health condition. In other words, if you are not depressed, if you are not anxious, if you don't suffer from severe stress or anxiety disorder, it does not mean that you enjoy perfect mental well-being, right? So then what is mental well-being? You must understand, first of all, it's a positive state of mental flourishing. When your personality flourishes with positive emotions and attitudes, like gratitude, forgiveness, kindness, affection, right? When your intellect is sharp and clear, you make right choices in life. You know exactly what to do, when to do, and how to do it. When you're objective and self-sufficient, when your life has meaning, has purpose, you have something to wake up for every single day of your life. So this is by and large the way we describe the state of perfect mental health. Now, how do we reach this amazing state? This is our topic today. How can Vedanta, this ancient Indian philosophy, help us reach that amazing state, or at least come a little closer towards it, right? Make few steps. However, before we answer the question, how, we need to investigate the origin of stress. We need to investigate the origin of mental disturbances. I hope you all understand, would agree with me. Without diagnosing a disease correctly, how can you prescribe a treatment? Unless you know where stress and all the disturbances originate, how can you think of a treatment? So the first question that we are going to answer today is, what is origin of stress? First of all, Vedanta tells us very clearly, there is no doubt about it. Disturbances do not come from the external world. They are internal, against common belief, against our sort of, in a way, logic and reason. We feel this person is tough, too much work for me, it's too much challenges, right, in my life. This is what is causing stress. This is what is causing agitations, isn't it? This is how we correlate immediately. But as we heard actually a few minutes ago, beautifully, it's quite right you said that. The world will produce endless challenges. It's exactly like waves at sea. This is a beautiful comparison, which is there in the scriptures. World will keep producing waves of challenges, and there is absolutely nothing we can do about it. We can't change the nature of this world. It will keep on throwing those tough people in our lives, tough situations, isn't it? It is constituted of pairs of opposites. We want only smiles. We want only cheer. We want only joy. But the world has both. It's an admixture of plus and minus, good and bad, sad and happy, all that. So there is nothing we can do to change this nature of the world. What can we do? We need to learn the art of tackling those waves. See, there's one group of people, we are running away from waves. Oh my God, large waves, let's run. But there is one group of people who is looking forward to big waves. Let's go to Sri Lanka. Very good waves there. What do they do there in Sri Lanka? They surf, surfers, looking forward to big waves at sea. Why? Because they know exactly how to tackle those waves. They know the art. When they can ride on the wave, when they can duck, get under the wave, how to balance on the board. So the same thing with us, with our life. All we need to learn is the art of dealing with those tough people, tough situations, those so-called problems, right? So that we maintain our mental balance, we maintain our mental well-being. We do not lose our mental well-being in any situation, no matter what the world throws at us. So friends, when we say disturbances are internal, stress is an internal phenomenon, what exactly do we mean by that? So let's analyze this part very carefully. Now, first of all, we need to understand You need to understand what is our human composition. We all have physical body. That's what we see in the mirror, right? However, physical body is nothing but a vehicle. It's just an outer shell, exactly like metal plates, right, that constitute the outer shell of a car. By itself, that outer shell does not do anything. It doesn't move. It doesn't, body by itself does not act. Body by itself does not perceive. Your body has not marched in here and by itself and sat down, right? Something propelled your body into action to come here. So exactly like in a car, you need an engine to start the movement of a car, isn't it? So similarly, within us, friends, there are two wondrous equipments. There are two wonderful equipments called the mind and the intellect. And together they constitute that inner engine that propels our body to act and to perceive. So by and large, both mind and intellect are nothing but our thoughts. If you analyze very carefully, what is moving you from experience to experience? It's your thought. Some kind of thought, motivation has brought you here. Next kind of thought will move you from this experience to the next experience. Some of you may go home, some of you may go to a club or a restaurant, etc., etc. Isn't it? It's thoughts that are propelling your body into action. So mind is called manas in Sanskrit, and intellect is called buddhi in Sanskrit. And it is absolutely essential for us to understand the difference between the two. If you want to live a happy, fulfilled, and balanced life, this is the main thing to learn today. The difference between the mind and intellect and how they interact. So mind, manas, is nothing but our feelings, our emotions, impulses, likes and dislikes. This is one type of thoughts. Next type of thoughts is the, like I said, is the intellect. Intellect is your capacity to think, to reason, to judge, and to decide. So mind is nothing but an indiscriminate flow of thoughts, irrational, nothing but impulse. We call mind a pleasure principle. All it understands, I want to enjoy, I want what is easy, I want what is fun, and I want it now. Instant gratification, pleasure. It has no logic, it has no reason. It can't think of consequences. Yes, I may want something just now, but is it good for me? What will be the consequence of my action, of that particular choice? It can't think like that. That's the role of the intellect. Therefore, friends, we compare the mind to the little child, to a little child in us, while the intellect, buddhi, plays the role of an adult. Now, question is, who is stronger? Unfortunately, just going by sheer statistics, in the world, everywhere, not only in India, but everywhere in the world, rates of stress, rates of divorce, rates of mental health, illnesses, etc., mind is much, much, much stronger. It's exactly like leaving a little child, a toddler, at home alone. It's not only not a good idea, it's a very dangerous situation because child has no knowledge. Can go to the kitchen, open a drawer and take a knife out. Can do anything because child completely lacks knowledge and understanding. Child needs constant supervision of an adult. But unfortunately, in the world today, nobody even knows that there is such a faculty, such an instrument called intellect, buddhi. We all understand intelligence. We all go to school, university, we do our PhDs, we gather in educational programs like that, only to gain intelligence. But intelligence does not help us develop intellect. It is our internal capacity to control the cravings, obsessions, demands, impulses of our own mind. This is what intellect is all about. And you will not get strong intellect unless and until you put in the effort. You have to develop it consciously. And of course, today's topic is just about that. What should we do? What exercises in a way? What steps should we take to develop our intellect, to fortify the adult so that adult is stronger and has perfect control over the child. so that the child does not wreak havoc in our own personality. See, the role of the adult is not to suppress the child, is not to stifle or eliminate the child. No, it's just to educate, guide, and control. That's about it. We're not saying suppress your desires, suppress your emotions, frustrate them. We are not suggesting that. All we are saying, check. Is it good for me or not? What will be the consequence? Should I not? Think carefully. Look before you leap. That's about it. Now, friends, to illustrate further to you the importance of intellect controlling the mind, I have this next diagram, the next slide. Why must your intellect control your mind? Now, there are such strange dog owners. You don't know who is taking whom out for a walk. Is the dog taking the master for a walk, or a master taking his dog or her dog for a walk? The dog is pulling in all directions, and the master is flying behind the dog. So that's a very typical situation sometimes when the dog is what? Untrained, bratish, spoiled. It may steal food, it may dirty your place, it may pull you in any possible direction, you may fall, break your limb. It's all possible, right? An untrained dog is compared to an uncontrolled mind. If you look at the slide behind me, uncontrolled mind, if the master is not in command of that creature, of the dog, what happens is, this is where the mental agitations arise. You lose your productivity. You create disharmony within and without. Inside of you there is disharmony, outside of you there is also disharmony. However, a well-trained dog, it's not just fun, it's not just pleasant to have such a friend, loyal friend around, but it's also very beneficial. They will serve you, such dogs. They can what? Protect your home from thieves, for example. Such dogs serve in the army. You see them very often in the airports. They help in the medical profession, take care of blind people, etc., etc. So many roles, if the dog is well trained. So, similarly, a controlled mind is the mind that enjoys perfect mental health, brings about peace and prosperity, and creates that sense of harmony in and around. Now, there is a beautiful saying that I would like to share with you. Mind is a beautiful servant. Remember this. Mind is a beautiful servant, but a dangerous master. So your mind should never take place of a master. Your intellect should control your mind if you want to enjoy enduring peace and happiness. Now, friends, to wipe out, I could have possibly created a little wrong impression in you. Some of you may be thinking, oh, child is innocent, small. What is the big deal to control a child? Ultimately, adult is much stronger. It's no big deal. Or an animal. Somehow we'll control the dog, big deal, something. Yeah? So you may get an impression, a wrong impression, that it's not that difficult to control the mind. So to remove that impression, I'm going to give you another comparison. It comes from the Bhagavad Gita. In fact, in chapter 6, Arjuna, warrior prince Arjuna, is looking at Lord Krishna and he's telling him, listen, what is it that you're asking me to do? He is quite annoyed, saying, you're asking me to control my mind? Do you understand that controlling the mind is as difficult as controlling the wind? Controlling the mind is as difficult as controlling the wind. So you're asking me to do an impossible thing. It's an impossible task. And come on. Lord Krishna looks at Arjuna with a smile and he says, yes, you're absolutely right. It is as difficult to control as the wind. However, it is possible with practice and dispassion. So this comparison of mind with the wind comes from the Bhagavad Gita. Now let's have a look at the few points. Uncontrolled mind wreaks havoc. Mind is like the wind. And what are the points of comparison? First of all, mind is restless. It keeps moving between past and future. Like a monkey, jumping from branch to branch all the time. So exact same movement here. Goes into the past, gets anxious. Goes into the future, worries about the future. What if this happens again? I failed in the past. What if I fail in the future? So this tendency of the mind to jump into past and future creates this restless characteristic of our own mind. Next is our mind is turbulent. It is full of passions, cravings, and obsessions. When desires are not controlled, see, if your desires are controlled, they take form of ambition, goal, aspiration in life. If desire is not controlled, this is what we're discussing here, then it creates passions, cravings, obsessions. All crimes of passion are committed because of this tendency of the mind. Next characteristic of the mind, it is very strong. It's intangible, like the wind, right? You can't really grasp wind, but we all understand it can get exceptionally turbulent and strong, like a hurricane, etc., etc. So it forcefully, our own mind is also like that. It can forcefully take hold of your personality and victimize it. Think of dictators or cult leaders. It's what they do to the public. They almost have that hypnotic force over their followers, over the masses. Whatever they command, Hitler commanded Holocaust. People listened, isn't it? I don't know if you heard of Jim Jones. He was a cult leader from the US, People's Temple, the founder of People's Temple. He has commanded his followers, a couple of hundreds of people, to commit mass suicide. They all locked themselves in the church or a temple. Mothers gave poison to their children first and then poisoned themselves. This is this quality of the mind we're talking about, exceptionally strong, forceful. It hypnotizes you. You're not in command of yourself anymore. So you have to watch out. And the last quality, it's obstinate. It means if your mind wants to achieve something, wants to get something, it'll bypass all the obstacles. It'll find some loophole to get what it wants. So these are the 4 qualities of the mind which we have to deal with. You have to understand it's a terrific force. And you really need to apply yourself. You really need to work on it to gain control over your mind. So it doesn't come naturally or easily, without application, without exercise. Now I will explain what happens when your mind gradually takes over your personality, how exactly it affects your mental well-being. So in a way, I will describe to you a mechanism by which we lose our sense of mental well-being, of mental flourishing. Please have a look at the next slide. Now, if you look at the line FA, we have a perfectly sane individual here. Who is a perfectly sane individual? Whose mind is completely 100% controlled by the intellect. Intellect is all powerful. Such a person performs 100% discriminative actions, 0 impulsive actions. Now some of you might be thinking, what a boring life. No fun. Nothing spontaneous he does. Everything he has to calculate. A little impulsive actions we should have. No, for fun. Drink and drive. Do this, do that. Right? Fun it is. So please understand, for one impulsive action, you may pay a very heavy price. There was an article which I read in National Geographic a few years ago. And the article was talking about an American boy who was a very good athlete. He really excelled in all sorts of sports. Anything outdoor, swimming, mountaineering, hiking, climbing, all that. Very tall, handsome fellow. So he got a scholarship to go to Switzerland, to Geneva. As you all know, Geneva has this lovely lake. Extends from the city center to the suburbs, right? And our friend is very fond of swimming. He's never been to Geneva before. He never swam in that lake before. He's never entered that lake before. But his inner child says, I want to swim. I want to do it now. I want to enjoy swimming. And the intellect, the adult, is so weak, so undeveloped. it doesn't kick in. The intellect doesn't tell him, listen, you've never been inside this lake. Go and check how deep the waters are, what kind of floor bed the lake has, nothing like that. Under that impulse coming from the mind, he removes his clothes, he runs to the end of the pier, he jumps into the water, head down, he dives, head down, hits his head, obviously the lake is a little shallow in that place, hits his head against sharp rocks. He's in coma for a few months, he's in the wheelchair for the rest of his life. So one impulsive action, it literally costs you almost your life. So this is a very heavy price. Impulse is not fun. When you think and do, then you may really enjoy, not otherwise. So who is a sane individual? Let's describe this kind of a person. He enjoys the state of perfect mental well-being because his intellect controls the mind to 100%. Again, it does not mean that he's devoid of emotions. He's like a plant or a stone. He doesn't feel anything. He has emotions. He has chaste emotions. He has positive emotions and attitudes like love and kindness and forgiveness, etc. Because he has a powerful intellect, he will always make what? Right choices in life. Perfect clarity. What to do, when, how, and why. And of course, he will be objective and self-sufficient, such a human being, right? These are, in fact, markers of personality growth. How objective are you? See, it's not that these guys don't have any challenges in their life. They don't break down with challenges because the intellect is so powerful. They have that quality of objectivity. So they rise above the challenges instead of what? Going down and get crushed by those challenges. Share a beautiful saying from Swami Ramatirtha. He tells us, from all life's grapes, I press sweet wine. Look at this. See, one season you might harvest exceptionally sour grapes. Useless. Some people may get stressed out, give up on that business. But our guy, sane guy, knows exactly how to use those grapes. They may be very sour grapes, but he knows exactly how to press sweet wine. The outcome will be positive and beneficial to him and others. Also, look at lives of Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. Any one of us would like to exchange lives with them, born in jail, separated from parents, exile, fighting demons, war after war. None of us would like to be in that situation. Terrible lives, very difficult lives, right? Isn't it? They were not pampered at all. Constant challenges from birth itself. But why are they Lord Krishna and Lord Rama? Not A Krishna, A Rama. What makes them Lord? That quality of self-sufficiency, of objectivity. They faced constant challenges, yet they remained what? Perfectly undisturbed, unaffected. That's their greatness. They had those powerful intellects. So those are the sane people. This is the people who belong to this category. Of course, it's an ideal for all of us to reach. Isn't it? You agree? We're all a little far from that. But this is the direction in which we have to be moving. Now let's have a look at the second category of people. Going back to the previous slide. So if you look at the line FB, now we have an emotional person. You see the participation of the intellect now drops to 75%, from 100 to 75, and the mind is no longer zero, it is functioning to 25%. So now you all understand, such a person will be swayed by emotions. Your partner is smiling, you're smiling. Your children are doing well, you're happy. Your health is fine, you're content, and everything is fine in my life by God's grace. But should any of these factors go wrong, your mental health begins to drop. You start losing your balance. So you're less balanced, you're less anchored here. Such people become swayed by moods, for example. No, today I'm not in the mood. No, I'll just stay at home. That moodiness begins. It shows affectation. So they experience ups and downs. And 25% of actions are impulsive. Once in a while they get drunk and drive, they may overspeed, they may get into an argument with a senior person. It's possible. And then it costs them lose their jobs. All those things can happen. Another example of impulsivity is interrupting a conversation. Few people are talking, this guy is too impulsive, can't wait. Coming right in between. No, I want to say this. Interrupting a conversation. Shopping spree. I just had to buy it. Why? I don't know. No reason, no logic. I had to buy it. So these are typical examples of impulsive behavior. They get affected. People get affected by weather. May not be so much applicable to South India because it's constant summer. But if you look at Western world, Western countries, the moment the autumn or winter emerge, there is something called seasonal affective disorder. It's actually a mental health condition. These guys cannot function because there is no sunlight. They get disturbed, mentally disturbed. They get into depression. And of course, all of us to some extent get affected by events of the day. Maybe you are aware of this tendency of the mind to ruminate. What is rumination? Rumination is that constant circular thinking. I'm just giving you examples. What happens in that emotional category? There's a different examples. So rumination is one of the things where your mind develops this mechanized, you're going on and on and on thinking. You don't find any solutions. But neither can you switch off. And usually, when does it happen? When does it happen? When do most people ruminate? What do you think? Most of the time. Night, correct. Before you want to sleep. That's why people can't fall asleep. In fact, friends, sleep is a very good marker, in a way, of your mental health. It gives you some idea where you stand. Because if you can't fall asleep for a very long time, your mind keeps on churning all those thoughts, not able to control them, you're not able to switch off. It indicates that your intellect is strong, mind is weak. Other way around. Mind is strong and intellect is weak. So you have to start strengthening your intellect. You have to start working on your intellect because your mental health is quite poor. In fact, Swamiji tells us, if you can't fall asleep in 20 seconds, something is wrong with you. So pretty much the moment your head hits the pillow, you should be able to sleep. Now, who does it? 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, I don't know how long you will take. So, yeah, just take it as an indicator. I need to work on this. Now, let's have a look at the next line, eccentric, FC. Now, here we begin to understand something is off with this guy. He's not quite normal. Why? Because 50% of his actions are controlled by the intellect and the 50% by the mind. So it's like, comme ci, comme ça, right? One day he's normal, friendly, accessible, approachable, behaves like a sane human being. Another moment, nothing has happened. Just the mood changed. Why? Nobody knows. 1 hour ago you spoke to him, he was normal. Just now again he's grumpy. Why? You haven't said anything to him, but he's grumpy. So these people experience unusual shifts in moods. See, even emotional guys, they also go through moods. But usually something triggers it and then they get in a little bit in that mood. But eccentric fellows, unusual, strong shifts. And now we all understand something is not all right there. Right? They become highly impulsive, extravagant behavior. Right? Just go into a restaurant or a bar and spend all your money. Whatever you've earned for this month, just throw it away. Buy drinks for everyone, something like that. Financial extravagance, for example. Then certain moderate symptoms of, let's say, bipolar disorder you can find here, right? The unusual, again, shifts in mood. One moment elated, I want to work, charged, I'm with people, in society, with company. Few weeks later or few days later, I don't want to do this, I'm depressed, don't touch me, don't come near me, etc., etc. So moderate symptoms appear here and can affect a person for days or months. It can develop into obsessions as well. People get obsessed with their health, for example, eating disorders. Again, I'm just giving you a few examples to give you some idea what kind of individuals we have in this category. Basically, it's the same emotions, but they express themselves much stronger than in the previous category, the emotional guys. So stronger anxieties, stronger fears, and stronger symptoms. Next category is hysterical, FD. Now here is a serious condition now because intellect is only 25%, that's about it, and mind is 75. So extreme mood swings, extreme, violent, maybe temper, rage, paranoia, whatever it is, very severe symptoms. Person may hallucinate, became totally delusional, irrational. Compulsive behaviors. So here compulsion is controlling a person completely. It's not moderate anymore. Can't stop. Compulsive hand washing. Some people pull their hair, they can't stop, etc. So we see here's a borderline. These people need help now. There's a borderline with madness. So the last line in the diagram, FE, is an insane person. So we have that a very severe case where mind is 100% and intellect is 0. Mind is 100% and intellect is 0. In fact, friends, there is temporary madness also. There was a case, in fact, we hear this from Swamiji, many years ago. It happened in India. A mother was teaching her child in the kitchen. She was cutting vegetables, cooking lunch. And her daughter, had exam coming up next day. And mother told her daughter, you sit here while I'm cooking lunch. I will ask you questions and you answer. I will check how much you learned and what all you know. So she asked the first question, child couldn't answer. Second question, again child couldn't answer. And like this, it went on and on and on. She fumbled in every question. Mother went into such rage. She hit that insane part. She took the knife and stabbed her own daughter. It's a real story. It's a real story. This is called temporary madness. Of course, she didn't mean to. Of course, she came out of it, but it was too late. So one emotion can ruin everything, family and your own life. So friends, this diagram shows how our own mind gradually victimizes us. If we are not careful enough, it will victimize us for sure. Now, what should we do to preserve, protect our mental well-being, and of course, ideally we should improve on it also, right? Not just protect what we have, but improve on it also. So please have a look at the next slide. 4 pillars of mental well-being. Frankly speaking, there is only one pillar, strong intellect. That's all you need. Key to mental health, mental balance, and mental flourishing is a strong intellect. However, if I just come here and tell you, friends, develop a strong intellect, and I walk out of here, you'll feel how unhelpful, right? Now, what exactly should I do? What is that intellect? And also, intellectual development takes time. You may not see the results right away. Immediately, what should I do? What kind of solutions? So therefore, I broke it down for you into 4 different areas, and I'll give you very practical, very simple exercises. If you perform them for each area, you should feel an instant relief. So strong intellect is number 1, and like I said, it's key to everything. Next is positive emotions. See, again, if you have strong intellect, of course you'll have positive emotions, right? Next is balanced relationships. If you have terrific trauma going on at home, conflicts and confrontations, and you feel your partner is doing this wrong and that wrong, your children are not obeying, your in-laws are not doing justice to you, it's like a war zone. How can you have mental peace, mental balance, right? So it's a very important point to know how to balance your relationships. Again, you need strong intellect for that. And finally, you need a higher purpose in life. Because if you don't have a meaning to your life, if you don't have a goal, a purpose, what do you wake up in the morning for? Something has to drive you to perform your actions. Something needs to inspire you. This is where you get your energy, your enthusiasm, your cheer. You need a higher purpose in life. These 4 are essential for our sense of well-being. Now, let's understand how to develop them, how to work on them. 4 steps to mental well-being. So to develop a strong intellect, we need introspection and reflection. These are 2 exercises that will help us build strong intellect. What is introspection? You spend 5 to 6 minutes every night. You lie down in your bed, brush your teeth, make your bed, lie down. You can even turn the lights off. Just make sure you don't fall asleep. All you need to do is simply remember the events of the day in their succession. From the time you got up, you woke up, to the time you are back to your bed, now introspecting. In sequence. What did I do first? What did I do next? Initially, all will be very hazy. What did I do? If you don't remember, don't force yourself. With time, with practice, you will improve on it. And suddenly, you'll start realizing certain things. For example, which you've never been aware of. For example, you'll tell yourself, my God, why am I rushing like a mad person every morning? Rush. I never enjoy my breakfast. My idli dosa, I always rush. I gulp it and run. And then I forget this, I forget that. I scream at my driver. I scream at my watchman, whatever it is. Why is the gate still not open? Why is the car not here? Why am I rushing? Isn't it better to go to bed a little earlier, wake up a little earlier, and be chilled in the morning, relax, enjoy my breakfast, read my paper, leave the house like a normal person, not in that rush. So things like that. So what this exercise helps us achieve, it makes our existing intellect available to us. Suppose you have a 30% intellect developed, but you're not using it. See, many of our actions are sort of almost mechanized, become routine. They're so used to functioning in a particular way, we stop questioning that. It became a norm for us. Rushing is a norm. Being stressed out is a norm. Why? So introspection helps you tackle this problem. Makes your existing intellect available. Now, apart from that, now we want to make that existing intellect, suppose it is 25-30% right now, we want to make it stronger. Now we want it to become 40, 50, etc. What do? What is intellect? Thinking. So it's exactly like muscles. What do you need to do if you want to develop muscles? You go to gym. You lift weights. You use your muscle to develop your muscle, isn't it? You use your muscle to strengthen your muscle. Similarly here with intellect, you think to develop thinking. You need to apply yourself. This has to be your approach to life henceforth, if you want a strong intellect. It has to be an analytical approach to life. You can't afford to function mechanically. You need to start questioning everything. See, even here in this talk, friends, this talk will not make a dent in you if you don't reflect upon it. It will enter here, exit here. And all of us in age group kind of a thing where we have a phenomenal capacity to forget. Tomorrow morning, your spouse will, Acha, you had that talk, no, yesterday. What was there? Vedanta, something, mind, intellect. That's it. After that, it's blur. By tomorrow morning, you'll forget most of it. Believe me. We have a phenomenal capacity to forget. So therefore, reflection helps us remember and imbibe the information that we have received. In any field, not just Vedanta, not just spiritual knowledge, any field, you need to, it's like a process of digestion. You see, food, if you don't digest properly, if your digestive system is weak, food gets thrown out of your system. You don't absorb nutrients. It doesn't benefit your system at all. It just gets thrown out. Similarly here, information gets thrown out without reflection. It doesn't become your own. So what do we have to do? Question. Inquire. Why is she saying this? What are the scriptures saying? How does it work? How can I apply it? Keep reminding yourself, keep remembering, keep pondering over those ideas again and again and again until you master them, until they become your own. You can't afford to leave them until that point, until they translate into your life, practical application. Otherwise, it's theory. You give lectures, you lecture everywhere nicely. But you will not live that knowledge yourself. Your mental well-being will not improve. And another important point, question, inquire, not take anything for granted. Refuse to follow herd instinct. So many things we follow because of herd instinct in life. I'm sure you're all aware of this fact. India is top of the charts as far as the problem, the severe issue of diabetes. So I come from Russia. I don't know of anyone who has diabetes. Literally nobody. Not friends, not relatives, no one. So we have this issue here. Shouldn't you ask yourself why? Maybe there is something in our diet. You know, what shira for breakfast, before breakfast and after breakfast. Mysore pa after lunch. Rasgulla after dinner. Kaju katli. Huh? Every meal you have to have a sweet. Huh? I'm not saying do or don't do. I'm just saying, why not question it? Maybe it's a tradition. Yeah, we should have sweet. My parents also had sweet. That's why diabetes, their generation and your generation also, right? So question it. It's like that. You know, all you need to do is ask yourself that question. And if it makes sense to you, change. If it doesn't make sense, stick to it. See, for example, for us, sweets are not daily on your table. Definitely not with every meal. They belong to, let's say, a birthday party or a holiday season. Christmas Eve, you cut a cake or whatever it is, New Year's celebration. Of course you do that. But not every meal. Before breakfast itself, you start with the sweet. So that's what I'm saying. Question it. Or recently it came up in the news. 7 Indian students were murdered recently in the US. All unconnected cases. I don't know if you heard about that. In the news it was. Still you're sending your children? I'm not saying don't send. I'm just saying question, maybe times have changed. Maybe it's not the same country. Maybe it's not as safe. Maybe Indian education is on par or better. That's all I'm saying. Just question the trend. Everyone wants to go. But see what is happening. So if you apply your intellect, if you apply your thinking this way, knowledge becomes your own, right? You develop a sharp, a strong intellect. And after that, your life is made. However, like I said, intellectual development takes a little time. You will not see the result tomorrow, day after. You have to develop an analytical approach to life. And then slowly, with time, you will notice differences. So I will give you 3 immediate steps. In a way, you can say it's kind of an exercise. You can integrate them into your life easily. That will help you boost your mental well-being right away. The first exercise is gratitude. If you remember, I'll show you the previous diagram, in fact. The second point is positive emotions. So we are addressing this part now. How to help yourself shift from negative, toxic emotions to a little bit of positive attitude in life. So we're addressing point 2 right now. Chaste emotions, pure emotions. Gratitude is remedy here, or the exercise here. See, again, the tendency of the mind is to grumble, to focus on what I don't have, what went wrong. Of course, the whole time if you're thinking what went wrong, of course you'll get depressed. So how to shift gears from what went wrong to what went right? Gratitude. And we have to be grateful for very simple things in life. Nothing major needs to happen. See, we all have eyesight. Some people don't have eyesight. We all have functioning limbs. Some people don't have functioning limbs. Isn't it? You grumble about your partner. Oh, he is so aggressive. He's screaming all the time. Remember, the same partner provides for you and your family. He's at the same time caring for you and providing for certain things. So like that, the moment that negative thought comes, think of something which you can be grateful for, which goes right, which goes well in your life. So that will give you the cheerful and optimistic and positive attitude in life, outlook in life. The second exercise is exercise in assessment. So that helps us build relatively balanced relationships. That third point on the previous diagram, if you remember, balanced relationships. Of course, assessment is not the only ingredient to balanced relationships. Relationships is a topic by itself. But if you are able to develop that sort of right assessment, it will help you a lot in your relationships. So assessment is what? Nothing but analysis. Again, you're employing your intellect to analyze the nature of people closest to me, whom I'm dealing with on a daily basis. What is my driver like? My driver is always late. Always late. And I scream every day, and still every day he is late. Fret and fume, nothing changes, still he is late. If you have a perfect assessment of your driver, suppose tomorrow morning you have to take a flight, and you know for sure that guy will be late. You've made that perfect assessment, you understand. Automatically you know how to deal with that guy. What will you do? You know your driver is late. However much you scream, he will be late even tomorrow. What should I do today? Before, or I would say, sleep in my house tonight. Do that. Don't leave itself. Because even then, you tell him 5 o'clock, 5:30 he'll come. Or give a very good buffer. Quite right. So this is where assessment helps us. You see, instead of grumbling and fretting and fuming, it gives us that capacity to deal with other people correctly. Friends, not only people we need to assess. We need to assess absolutely everything in life. The environments, the situations we're in, even the nature of the world around us. It's a big thing now, yeah. Everybody wants stability, how to handle change. How to handle change? World means change. It's the definition of the world. Anubhava dhara. It's a stream of experiences. It's like a river flowing. It can never stop. That is the nature of the world we live in. If you don't understand it, you want permanency. In the impermanent world, you want permanency. In the most unstable world, you want stability. Is it not absurd? What are we demanding? It's an absurd expectation. See, if we don't have right assessment, if we've not assessed what or who we are dealing with, we develop what? What do you think we develop? What do we develop? That stress is in the end. In between also something comes up. Before stress, that also in the end, along with stress. Wrong expectation. First comes wrong expectation. I do not know what to expect from this person. I project my own mental picture. I feel this is how he or she should behave. And when that person, he or she, does not comply, then stress, frustration, conflict, confrontation, divorce, all those things begin to happen. And who is at fault? I'm at fault. I have not assessed. See, it's like expecting a cobra to be affectionate. Go and pet the cobra, and then you sit and complain, you grumble. Oh, why is she not responding to my affection? Could be a mother-in-law. No, mother-in-law's role is like that. I mean, what can you do? Right? Or a tiger. Oh, I went again, is roaring. Nature of the tiger is to roar, to be loud. You have an aggressive spouse. He will never talk softly, right? It's a wrong person you're imagining next to you. So how do you... See, with thorough assessment, when you really understood a person, comes acceptance. You accept. You understand it's like nature. You can't change it. Can you change cobra? Can cobra function differently from its own nature? It can never be affectionate, meek, mild, friendly. It's not its nature. So similarly with people, understand when you go home today and you sit down at dinner, you understand there's a whole zoo at your table. There could be a cobra, there could be a tiger, there could be a monkey constantly moving, there could be a donkey, whatever it is. And you have no clue. You have no clue. So because we don't assess, we expect things that we ought not to expect, and we get disappointed, we get frustrated, we get stressed out. So Vedanta helps us to look at others as they are, at each person, at each environment and situation as they are. This is a given. This is a political climate in my country. This is a mental climate. right? So you look at things as they are, not what you would like them to be. This is where the problem comes. I would like everyone to be polite, but this is not the world we live in. Everyone is not going to be polite. So you understand how to deal with these people. Assessment helps you avoid that disappointment and stress as far as relationships are concerned. And we come to the last point, which is higher purpose in life. Now, this is very, very important because a higher purpose gives meaning to your life. Something worthy, waking up for. And it fills your life with enthusiasm and energy and cheer. All you need to ask yourself, what am I working for? Look at the next diagram. These are the circles of identification. What am I identifying with? What is my purpose? What am I earning all this money for? Some people work only for themselves. They're highly selfish. Not even spouse, not even children. Everyone comes second, third, fourth. Me first. Highly selfish human beings. Second category, most people in this world, they work for their family, right? To provide certain facilities and amenities to their family members, good education, good medical facilities, etc. Most of the people. Next category of people work for their community, right? Now they expand their circle of identification. They care of environment, take care of environment, maybe animals living around, maybe there are poor families, they want to help, etc., etc. So they share their profits with little larger community. Then there are people who work for their country. Of course, there are great leaders like Gandhiji, no doubt. His whole life was dedicated to his nation, to his country. But even business people, Henry Ford, what was his goal? Simply put more money into his pockets, have a bigger house, have another yacht, have another whatever it is? No. His goal was what? Create an awesome vehicle, an automobile for middle-class Americans. So he clearly worked for his nation, even Steve Jobs for that matter. They were not looking at just personal profits. There are people who work for the entire humanity. Think of a scientist in a laboratory who's discovering, let's say, cure for cancer. He's not even doing it just for his own nation. He's doing it for the entire humanity, all living beings, all people. And the final category, this you need spiritual development, spiritual education. There are people who work for entire living beings. So these are self-realized souls who identify with one and all. Now, friends, please remember this. Why this is important? There is an impeccable law. There is an impeccable law that does not alter, doesn't change with time. No selfish person is happy. You will not find one single selfish person who's happy. Well-being, mental health. Impossible. He will grumble, he'll be miserable, he will demand more and more, and he will never be satisfied. Corners. No unselfish person is miserable. They may face tough people, tough situations, whatever it is, they will still be cheerful, happy, optimistic, because they work for a higher cause, for a larger cause. So friends, just a few concluding remarks at this point. Now, just to summarize, intellect is the key here. It's the key to mental flourishing. To the extent your intellect controls your mind, I hope you understood this today, to the extent your intellect controls the mind, you enjoy the sense of well-being. Relative sense of well-being. However, there could be few of you in this auditorium who will say, you know what, why relative? Why not go all the way? I want to enjoy the absolute sense of fulfillment. Vedanta says possible. If you want to enjoy the absolute sense of fulfillment, you must go beyond your mind. First, you control it. This I explained to you today. You control your mind, then you go beyond your mind. You finally understand, I am not this mind, and mind's problems are not mine. So this is spiritual path. When you slowly disconnect from your own mind and you begin to identify with the spiritual core of your personality, your Atman, yourself, you begin to understand, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I am that self, I am that Atman. And whether you understand this today or not, That is the true, real goal of human existence. This is our only purpose in life, whether we know it or not. So we are all like rivers moving towards the ocean. It's a question of time. Maybe waters of one river is a little further away from the ocean. Another river is very, very close, almost there, But they're all moving in the same direction. Similarly, us. We're all moving towards that final goal, the final destination. And Vedanta helps us make conscious steps in that right direction and realize the Atman, the pure consciousness in all of us. And once the river merges with the ocean, that's an absolute sense of well-being that we enjoy. Not until then. Until then, whatever you do, you will control your mind, you will feel much better, no doubt. Relatively, you'll be cheerful, happy and peaceful. But true happiness, permanent happiness, resides in your Atman, in your own spiritual core. And you need to practice spiritual disciplines to get there. Thank you very much. So this is all from my end. Thank you. Thank you.
Questions like that, you can answer from there. Thank you, madam. It's a fascinating evening with so much mind and intellect, and we all should understand the difference between intellect and intelligence. If you know that, I think you'll do extremely well. You can teach so much about this, what Swami Parthasarathy written, difference between intellect and intelligence, actually. Very much, you may be very intelligent. If you're not intellect, I don't think you're going to be doing. Over 680 viewers are watching this program live, and I got lot of questions. I'll put across to you, and I give priority to the people who are sitting here. They are given some questions. The first question has come from Mr. Karthik. Mr. Karthik is here. Raise your hand. Oh, good, Karthik. Good to see you here. How can we use humor to beat stress?
How can we?
Use humor
Humor.
to beat the stress.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool, humor, no doubt. Laugh it off. Whatever happens to you in life, laugh it off. This is that sense of objectivity. Remember when I was describing a sane individual who is an objective guy, he takes the step back and laughs at the situation. Or at least that thought of, even this shall pass away, it's temporary. Tomorrow I will laugh it off, even if today I can't. My intellect is not strong enough. Even if today I feel a little bogged down by my problems, you should always remember, tomorrow I'll be able to laugh it off. If you have a strong intellect, you will laugh it off, whatever situation you're faced in life. So yes, it's a very powerful tool if you can do it. If you can laugh it off, perfect. Usually when we are in that tough situation, it's rather difficult to laugh. We cry for some time, and then after a month or two, we laugh.
Yes. We have a question from Mr. Swami, and he says, practical, quick techniques for development of mind, not theory, but practice. Everything starts from theory. Maybe your response to this question, Mr. Swami is here? It's here. Yes.
The question on mind? No, mind, please don't develop. It's already very, very strong. Mind, let's not develop. Mind is that which causes all the problems. That's what I've been explaining now. It's that little child in us. See, mind, we are born with mind. It grows automatically. You don't have to develop it further. In fact, from early childhood, we collect all the desires and demands and likes and dislikes, all the impulses. How do you want to develop further impulses? You need to develop your intellect to control those impulses.
Man is already depressed, He cannot analyze, he cannot develop intellect.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You cannot apply all these theories to already depressed.
Correct.
So what I suggest, you join the Vedanta Institute, you'll get more. Within 45 minutes, you may not be able to teach everything. And there are a lot of things, and yoga, meditation, quite a number of things. Here she has responded to you. I think you should accept it. Maybe later you can discuss with her. I suggest you could join the institute so that you learn more.
No, it's a legitimate question. For a depressed person who's, let's say, highly depressed, you saw the diagram. Let's say the intellect is very, very poor. It's a legitimate question now how to start developing that intellect and coming out of that situation. So use other ways and means, medical ways, whatever it is, to calm the person down. When the person comes towards this, some sense of balance and equilibrium, you can start using all those techniques that I was describing today.
We move on to the next question, madam. It's from Ms. Priya from Erode. Is how to address the concept of happiness and its relationship with mental well-being, and what practice can individual adapt to cultivate the lasting happiness for himself?
Yeah. So where is the questioner? Here or online?
No, it's all
Questioner is
online.
here?
All the questions
Okay,
are
okay.
online now. It's from
So-
Priya from Erode, actually.
Okay, all right. So well-being is happiness. They're synonyms. If you're a happy individual, you enjoy the sense of well-being. If you enjoy the sense of well-being, you're a happy individual. And as I was describing today, explaining to you today, it's the mind that disturbs our happiness, takes away our sense of well-being. It's our own mind. So the tips and techniques which I described today are for development of the intellect, to be able to control the mind, and once mind is controlled, you enjoy relative happiness. Absolute happiness, I told you, that's in the end through spiritual
Yeah,
practices, karma, bhakti, and jnana.
Everything
We have
revolves
to
around
get there.
happiness. Here is a question from Sriram from Chennai. He says, what advice would you give it to someone who is interested in applying the principles to improve their mental health, but is not sure where to start from?
I would say start by studying this literature. In fact, we have few books here with us today, and maybe in the end we can put another slide. There are 4 books for suggested reading. Like I said, this one lecture is not going to help, and it's not going to answer all your questions. I won't be able to do the justice to all of you. It's just a tip of the iceberg. You need to dive deeper into the study of Vedanta. Start reading the books. Read them during the Sattvic time, Brahma Muhurta, between 4 and 6 a.m. This is the time where whatever intellect we possess at the moment, it's best available to us. Mind is relatively calm and quiet. So dive deeper into the study, you will find all the answers. That's
Great,
what I
madam.
would recommend.
It's a question from Mr. Sundar from Trichy. He says, how does one view the concept of self-esteem and its impact on the mental well-being, and what practice can individual adopt to build a healthy sense of self-worth?
Self-esteem.
Yes.
Yeah. So self-esteem, again, comes from a strong intellect, from your objectivity. You know exactly your pluses and your minuses. So if you have certain talents, you will have a sense of self-esteem. You avoid complexes. What is disturbing self-esteem? I'm superior, I'm inferior, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm good for nothing. This is what disturbs. It's a complex. It's coming from the mind again. So what helps us come out of complexes is a simple understanding that we're all spokes in the wheel of life, right? Each one is just playing his or her own part, and you don't have to feel superior or inferior about it. See, the sense of self-esteem has to be a healthy sense of self-esteem, right? It should not grow into arrogance. You don't have a complex that I'm good for nothing. Neither do you get into a superior feeling, I'm better than anybody else. So it's a balanced feeling where you know your strong sides and you know your weak sides, and you function in the world accordingly.
Great, man. I know. One of the professors from Harvard said, you have high self-esteem, you are very, very intelligent, have tremendous knowledge, and of the profession which you belong to, your self-esteem will go very, very high. If you are not lack of knowledge, you show your anger because your self-esteem is low. Here is a question from Shanti. She is from Osu. She says, can you share any specific meditation or mindfulness techniques that can help individuals manage the stress, anxiety, or other common mental health issues? Any simple techniques which you would like to share with?
So the way we understand meditation is slightly different from what is common understanding in the world today. So meditation is the highest known spiritual practice, and you have to be very, very well prepared for it. Otherwise, you will incur a lot of damage. You can actually damage your own mind if you're not ready for meditation. See, mind right now, without intellectual control, is like a monkey. It is constantly jumping, constantly moving. Now you tell me what will happen if I forcefully bind that monkey to a chair. What will happen to a monkey if I bind the monkey to a chair? Because what is meditation? You're forcefully stopping the thought flow. Your mind is filled with desires. filled with anxieties, filled with fears and complexes, like a monkey moving, worry, anxiety, rush, 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 what about this, what about that? Now, in that process of meditation, you're forcing your mind to stop. It's like binding an animal, a monkey, to a chair. What will happen? What will happen? It'll go mad. It will go mad. So you have to be prepared for meditation. And the best preparation for meditation are the spiritual practices, karma, bhakti, and jnana. So you need to follow those disciplines because they help you reduce the load of desires. Because of that load of desires, your mind is moving right now from place to place, right? So once the load of desires is reduced, you become meditative. You don't have to sit and force yourself into meditation. Om, 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 home, home, home. It goes all over the place. You can't stick to that one thought. It's not possible because your mind is untrained. See, people skip that part completely. Sit and meditate and they think they're going to be helped. See, even if there is a sense of relief, it's a very temporary feeling. The moment you go back to the stressful environment, the moment you're facing those tough people again, your mind will be agitated and stressed out over again. So the practical tips that we give is what was the last bit of my presentation here. Introspection, reflection. You have to take this literature. You have to start imbibing those values, Vedantic values. You have to reflect upon it until they become your own. You strengthen your intellect, you become objective. So everything flows from that. And then the small practice of gratitude, you can do it on a daily basis, your assessment, and be as unselfish as possible. How difficult is that? That itself will give you a sense of fulfillment and happiness. Nothing much you need to do. Meditation, don't worry about. Once you're on the spiritual path, you follow karma, bhakti, jnana, you will become meditative once your load of desires reduces.
Brilliant, madam. That means you have to prepare for the meditation. If you do that without any
Maybe
preparation, at the end of the
dangerous.
day, we all do for 10 minutes meditation. We think
It may be
our day is
dangerous.
done. We are very, very good now. No stress. But you add more stress to yourself.
Study this literature. That will help you
Lovely.
permanently.
Here is a question from Mr. Raken Senthil from Ambur. He says, how does one view the concept of suffering and its role in mental well-being, and what practice can individual adopt to navigate suffering in a healthy way?
So like I said, suffering is part and parcel of life. No, that's why we started today with the discussion, right? You can't have a world without suffering. We all go through one kind of pain or the other. Question is, have you mastered the techniques of rising above that suffering, of tackling it? Or do you get buried under that load? You get crushed by it? That is the main question. See, suffering is unavoidable. Remember that example I gave you in the beginning, waves at sea. You can't stop them. World means admixture, pleasure and pain, happy, unhappy. All this will happen. Good and bad people will be part of your life. Good and bad events will be part of your life. But question is, are you prepared to tackle that suffering? It may be physical, it may be mental, whichever way it is. So to tackle your suffering successfully, you need to develop a strong intellect. Sorry, there is only one cure for everything, to be very frank. Yeah, if you develop a strong intellect, you will automatically, you'll be in control of your life. I was giving you examples of Rama and Krishna, right, in the beginning. What do they have? They have awesome intellects. What suffering, what pain, what more suffering and pain can you imagine than those people went through? None of us would want to be in their situation. We will be in asylum, all of us, if we live those lives.
Everything revolves around it. I think due to paucity of time, number of questions to come. I'll take last 3 questions with your permission. Okay, the next question is from Daniel from Chennai. He says, gratitude and its impact on mental well-being.
Absolutely.
And what practice can individuals adapt to cultivate gratitude in the daily life? You spoke quite a lot about gratitude. In your
I spoke about gratitude.
How do you develop the habit of gratitude?
It's just an awareness. See, the moment you catch yourself to churn those negative attitudes, what is missing, what went wrong in my life, you have to catch that moment. And all you need to do is shift gears. Remind yourself what went right. Today, right now I'm sitting here, and the mind may say, oh, what is this? I'm hungry, this, that. But at the same time, remind yourself, listen, my digestive system is working well. That's why I'm hungry. Good, I'm hungry. You know? Be grateful. Be grateful for what you're enjoying. Some people's digestive system does not work well. They don't develop hunger. They can't eat. They can't enjoy food. I can enjoy food. Good, I'm hungry. This is gratitude. Nothing, you just have to catch that moment and shift gears. That's all.
Maybe you are hungry to try our refreshment this evening.
Yeah.
Another question from again Satish from Chennai. He says, how does the view of the concept of forgiveness and its role in mental well-being, and what practice can individuals adopt to cultivate forgiveness in the daily life as a habit actually? When is it come by practice or it is imbibed? How do we do this?
Yeah. So
You also
forgiveness.
spoke about forgiveness in your
Absolutely,
presentation.
yeah. So when you develop right assessment, you understand, you have this objective picture of the world. You understand there are 5-year-olds. They may look grown up, but as far as the mental or intellectual development is concerned, they're like little children. So you develop that attitude to people who, so to speak, harm you in one way or the other. They may be rude, they may be treacherous, or whatever it is, done something wronged you in some way or the other. So when you have a perfect assessment of those people, you understand, actually speaking, they're lacking certain values, they're lacking that growth, they're lacking that personality development. See, you've enjoyed this kind of education. Yeah, maybe you picked up certain values from your family, from your environment. They haven't. So therefore, they're lacking knowledge to behave better, to do better things in life. So you look at them as balaha, no? They say, little children. Will you curse a little child for being rude or throwing a tantrum? You don't curse, you understand. That's the stage of development. So similarly here, remember Christ who was on the cross.
So one last question please go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, Father, forgive them. They know not what they're doing. This should be the attitude to people who are seemingly harming us. Yeah.
Great, madam. One last question for the evening before we let you go is from Mr. Balaji from Chennai. He says, how to address the concept of attachment and its impact on mental well-being, and what practice can individuals adopt to cultivate detachment? We are always attached to everything.
Yeah.
How do you detach yourself so that you don't get very emotional and you get disappointed?
Frankly, it's a very good question. And I have consciously omitted this word attachment, because if we begin, we will not stop within 45 minutes given to us today. Quite right. Attachment is a very, very serious problem. It affects our relationships, it affects our mental health, it affects absolutely everything. To deal with attachment, again, it boils down. See, mind gets attached. Your little child inside of you gets attached to everything. It begins, you're no longer self-sufficient. You're leaning on others. You're depending on others for what? For happiness. It's selfish love. Attachment is nothing but selfish love. Because your interest comes first. What do I gain out? See, because I gain something out of you, I love you. You have that feeling towards your spouse, towards your child, towards your friend. Yeah, right? You give me that support, you give me that understanding, you give me those emotions. Therefore, I love you. So attachment is nothing but selfish love. You remove selfishness from the equation. You simply identify with another person. You create a little bit of elbow room in all your relationships. Detachment means what? Don't try to control and interfere too much. Give a little elbow room, give a little freedom to yourself and others. This is how you will slowly tackle attachment. You need knowledge for that. The bottom line is knowledge. You don't need knowledge, you need wisdom to deal with attachment. We have an entire book dedicated to the subject, the Holocaust of Attachment. In fact, it's here in this auditorium. You can please come and have a look. The entire book is dedicated to the subject. So I'm absolutely not doing justice to this topic, but just to give you some direction.
Thank you, madam. I think it's a fascinating evening. Detach and learn a lot. And we have a full-fledged lectures happening at the Music Academy from 21st to 25th, I suppose. And please do come attend. Sunandi ji is going to be talking there. You'll learn more. I think so once in a while you can take a break and go and sit back. I think listening to this itself will make you feel good, and you detach yourself from some of the routine things what you do every time. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause to Irina Dwarak for really sharing their insight. With, I'm quite sure many of us will go with much learning, most wisdom to learn some of our issues what we have. Now I request maybe Venkat, and also I would like to thank the team which really supported us in presenting this event. Jayashree madam and also Mrs. Alagappan, she's not here. They are the one who put together, made Irina possible to come and speak here. Thank you so much for doing this. And Mr. Sundaram, can you also come on stage? Let's honor the guest. Madam, can you step forward? Come. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. See you again tomorrow. Another interesting topic, another day, another intellectual insight for you.